Ladies and gentlemen, we have had 6 weeks of nail-biting competition in RLIS Superstars 2022, and this is the final series. We have saved the best till last for this evening because we have the grand final in the Superstar tier, the top tier of competition where the most money is on the line. My name is Res, and I'll be covering the action tonight alongside manager of the High Kings, Dlynch. How are you this evening, and how hyped are you for this final?
I'm good, Rez. I'm good. Thanks for the lovely introduction, and I can't wait for this series. It's going to be a nail biter, and it's nearly impossible to predict who's going to win, Rez.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to rub salt into the wounds, but your team that you were on lost in the semi-finals to the Saints. You came in as the first seed. The Saints came in as the fourth seed. So how do you think they're going to fare, kind of coming into this one as the underdog?
My opinion is that Decomp is the caliber of first round superstar at this rate, so he's just going to make a big difference. Like I say, he's subbed in, but he's not playing like an all-star at all. He has been a real difference maker, more than teams might expect. So they might be a bit surprised with how well Decomp can play, but I think he's going to make a real difference tonight, Rez.
And you talk about difference makers. You look on the side of the Banshees, you've got that team of Trace, Linsk, and Cans. Trace, probably the hardest carry in all of RLIS. He's really stepped up so far this season. Can you see him doing it again tonight?
Especially in ones and twos, I can easily see Trace doing that. But in 3v3, he's still obviously very, very good. But he has two very capable 3v3 players alongside him in Linsk and Cans, who, look, they know how to rotate, they know how to hit the ball. Should be a very solid roster overall for the Banshees.
Well, we are just seconds away from getting into this grand final. The Saints versus the Banshees in the Superstar tier. Let's get it on. The Saints versus the Banshees joining up to the teams now. It is the Saints in the blue and the Banshees in the orange to kick off the action for tonight. The Banshees arguably coming in as the favourites, but the Saints will definitely have something to say about that. As Linsk beaten out early by Shane, the two good friends on opposing sides of the field this evening. As Cans making his way downfield, we'll have an open goal to aim at. Campower will get a no. Cans has hit the post early on. Things you do not love to see right there. Dlynch has Cans missing a golden opportunity to open the scoring.
He really does, and that is probably the most Cans fashion you will see for tonight. But look, he has all the experience, we know him very well. He won't let one little open net get to him. Maybe a demo might get to him, but definitely not an open net miss. As we see here though, Cans takes it downfield, Res, and it's been a fairly quiet opening minute so far.
Obviously, this is a best of 9 series, so it's just about the longest we will have seen in our island. So the teams will be looking to try and settle into the series in this first game and get into a good rhythm and try and build some momentum going into the remainder of the series. Decomp now playing out of his own corner after being involved in probably the most incredible series RL Island has ever seen just 7 days ago. Or 8 days ago. No. 6 days ago, there we go, I can do some basic maths, but Decomp putting the ball downfield, he can certainly do his angles as Cans. Let's try and flick past Parable. Parable does get something on it, but Trace is up quickly. Shane needed to get a touch on that, and he did. As Linsk going to try and play it into the middle, this could be an opportunity. Dlynch, it seems so far the Banshees have had the majority of the pressure, but the Saints, they're holding firm.
They really are, Rez, and look, while the Banshees have had a lot of the opening pressure, they have also had a lot of the double commits happening so far, and it's going to be really interesting to see how both teams will adapt, because just nearly half the game is gone and both teams still happening there. As we see though, the Saints starting to put on a lot of kind of extended pressure on this Banshees net, Rez.
Decomp trying to create something here with an infield play. He's going to leave that for his teammate. Is there a follow-up? Not quite yet. Parable will be the first to the loose ball. Decomp up high, but he can't quite find the angle on that occasion. Shane back off the Banshees backboard, but Trace able to clear. It goes over the head of Parable, but Decomp will now have time to reset the play. He's going to be able to take the boost in his own corner and try and make something of this. Cans going up there quickly, but he can't make contact. Linsk down range. Shane almost gets bumped for his troubles. The shot is on towards net by Linsk, but Decomp able to get there in the nick of time. Now past the halfway mark in this game, still goalless, but perhaps not for long as the Banshees are beginning to pinch the net. As Trace flipping off the backboard. Shane and Decomp combining here, possibly getting in each other's way just a little bit as the Banshees can try and reinvigorate this attack. Parable trying to make something of this. Saints so low on boost at the moment, Dlynch, but with that clear from Shane, they will survive. And can you see them just trying to have to play counter-attack in these threes games?
It's been that's an interesting question, because counter-attacking could be their best chance, especially if Trace, for example, overcommits. But besides the opening minute, it's been real kind of, both teams have been taking kind of periods of extended pressure on the opposition net. It's been kind of, hasn't really been end-to-end throughout the most of the game, but I say counter-attack's probably the best hope for the Saints, but we'll have to wait and see, Res.
Shane taking it all on his own, but Trace will be equal to it. Linsk knocks it forward. It's going to be a race to loose ball, but Cans won't even bother. He sees the Parable will always be the first to that ball. Linsk now plays it over to the sidewall. Cans is there, but Decomp cuts it out nicely. A good interception from Decomp, who's really settled well into this Saints roster so far this game. Now, Cans clear only as far as Decomp, who puts it back forward. Trace having to do some defensive work here, but it's not the best of touches. Parable with the double tap. Agonizingly close, but it will just go wide. Now Shane playing it into the corner as Cans manages to get the clear, but they are stuck in their own half. This is the first bit of sustained pressure we've seen this game for the Saints, as Parable wants it to continue, but they may have just managed to neutralize the situation here, the Banshees, as Cans with a good 50-50 in the opposing corner. Trace was coming in very close for the Banshees, and now this could be a chance with the floor pinch from Linz. Parable pops it up high. They need to try and get a clear on this. The double commit will work out for the Saints. It was risky business from them, but they will get the clear. Shane plays it downfield, but Trace passes it up to Decomp. This is into the middle for Parable. It was a good save to keep it out by Trace. They needed that one with only 10 seconds left on the clock. We could be staring down the barrel of overtime here. Parable plays it forward. Cans trying to make something of this in the final moments, but the ball looks like it will not touch the floor just yet because Linsky's going to keep it up. Parable can't get it on the floor just yet. Decomp may just want to put this down onto the floor now. It's bouncing high to the middle. Shane. Decomp can't get there. Dlynch, we have overtime.
This has been some real nail-biting stuff that last 30 seconds or so, and I can't tell. No one team has really been a super favourite so far. Both teams have got, as we say that though, Linsk with the launch shot can't find the target, Res, and it's been real. I can't see how this game's gonna go. It's nearly impossible to predict.
This is really tight stuff here. Dlynch's Trace has the boost to try and make a solo play. He's been so good all season, but just on that occasion couldn't quite make it happen. Parable with boost to try and get a solo play clear. He's going to keep it close. It's a good play by Parable just to not throw away possession. That's one of the big things that you notice at this top tier, is that players are much more hesitant to just give the ball away. They want to try and take it slow and make a play out of defense rather than just hoofing it down the field. But that could have been a chance, but Decomp got there nice and quickly with a good pinch downfield. Now Trace knocks it over to Cans. Shane going to be up in the midfield, going to try and play it off to his teammate, but Linsky's going to be first to the loose ball. Trace now up high. 2 players up for the Saints, but it won't be too much of a problem for them as Parable can get it clear. I've been impressed by Parable this game. He's done a lot of the defensive dirty work, and his team have been very thankful for that as they are yet to concede. But on that same side of the coin, the Banshees also have a clean sheet so far, but one of these teams will have to break the duck eventually, as Cans will be looking to do so now. It's going to bounce into the middle with Trace. Parable almost getting bumped, he will make the save. Now a minute and a half into overtime. This one won't quite creep into the corner, Dlynch, and you've got to start thinking about nerves coming in this long overtime.
As you say that though, a rather tactical miss from Cans, and the team bump, but Nerves are going to really be playing on a lot of the minds of this player.
That might
He's not
creep
in.
in. It's going to go all the way in. The long-range effort, and Shane will punish it. It was over-aggressive from Lintz to try and make that play. Cans trying to make something out of nothing there, and with no teammates behind him, it'll just roll into his net. And the Saints, they will take a one-game lead. That is not what the Banshees would have wanted. But, Dlynch, we also have to consider the factor that now the Banshees will get to decide between playing 1s and 2s.
They will indeed get to make that choice, and it's going to be very interesting to see which mode they pick, because obviously they have Trace, their star 1v1 player, but we're just in from Cans. They have chosen 2v2, which maybe they might fancy themselves a bit more in Res, and we're going to have to just wait and see how this is going to get on.
Yeah, obviously they are a very strong team in 1s, especially with Trace, the Banshees side. But going for 2s early, perhaps confident that they can get a win. And it's going to be Shane and Decomp going up against Linsk and Trace in this. And this could be a pivotal game for the Banshees to get back into it, with them putting out their top 2 players in this 2s game. If they can't get a win here, then they might be hard-pressed to get a win in 2s full stop. So, could be a very indicative match of Rocket League indeed, as Shane putting some early pressure off the kickoff, but Trace will be able to get up to it. Decomp looking for the double tap to get it clear, but he can't get there. Linsk may try and put it in, can't drop it down. As we have to think, Dlynch, of these players will have to make a big change to their gameplay to adapt to a different game mode so quickly, and I think that's one of the beauties of RLIS, really. It's that it really asks players to be adaptable and asks questions of whether they can compete across all 3 game modes.
It really does, Res, because as we know, obviously, when you're in a 3v3 series, you're constantly in that mindset of how to play 3 specifically, and it's a unique skill set in itself to be able to play 2s and 1s then, at a moment's notice with swapping a game, and it's really just interesting how that's going to happen. And look, we'll just have to wait and see, because as we know, all these players, very high skilled. We're just going to wait and see how this ends up playing out.
Be a chance. Decomp, he's missed, but Shane with the follow-up, he's also missed. That is devastating for the Saints. They needed to score that one, but at least they get away with not conceding on the counter-attack. That's going to be important for them, as Trace trying to make a play back down the other end. Gets the musty flick as he is traversing the Saints defense. But now the Saints coming back at them, popping it up high. Lintz can make the save. And we've seen a couple of back and forth plays here, Dlynch, but no one able to break the deadlock just yet.
No one just yet, as we see here though, but I have no clue who's going to break this first deadlock. Banshees, in theory, might have a bit of an advantage here in the 2s, which having such a potent player in Trace, but we will just have to wait and see as Decomp tries to challenge Trace, force him to make something happen. Trace takes to the skies, can't make much happen, but just get a bump on Shane. The disruption play. Decomp. Low boost. Ends up just passing it to Trace. Trace is doing so well right now to just steal those corner boosts and kind of really disrupt any chance of certain momentum for the Saints. That's going to happen. As we see here though, Decomp tries to go to the skies, but can't really find much happening. And kind of leaves his teammate isolated. And Shane, bit of a misclick there, and Trace scores. And that is some rather unfortunate from the Saints. Shane either misreads it or a bit of a controller error, we're not sure, but that is 1-0 to the Banshees. That is not how the Saints want this series to be going, particularly this game.
Absolutely. As now the Banshees going to look to try and double their lead immediately. Shane forced into the save. As now Shane trying to get all the way down the field. That would have been a lovely solo play if it had pulled it off. But it's going to bounce into the middle. Decomp with the open net. He does not miss those, and they tie this game almost immediately.
And that's a bit of a redemption arc for Shane right there after that misread earlier, and Decomp easily able to tap in that open net, right? And now we got a real game on our hands.
If we didn't already, the Saints have tied us up. This is going to be a close one. Decomp getting the demo off the kickoff and now has the boost to try and make a solo play. Try and just lose possession back into his own corner for Shane, but Linsk has come away with it. A bump as well, as Decomp needed to get a touch on that and did. Now Trace up high with the flip reset, with the double flip reset, trying to set something up that Linsk can press onto, but Shane has just dusted Linsk to the ball here. Trace may have been in a spot of bother, but he will get away with it. Linsk up high, needs to get a touch and does. And now the Banshees are looking very shaky on defense indeed. Shane trying to put it into the middle. Decomp goes low, but Trace with the squishy save comes off the roof of his own net to keep that one out. As now Linsk moving down the field. A good air dribble, gets the reset. Can he go all the way? Not quite. Decomp makes the save. And we are still level, but both teams are really knocking on the door now.
Yeah, indeed, Res. It's a lot closer than people might have anticipated before this first twos game, but we've seen some magic moments from both sides. But it's going to be very interesting to see how this potentially final minute of gameplay will go.
Yeah, perhaps we could see another overtime. We saw a fairly lengthy rut without any goals in the first game. It took 6.5 minutes to break the deadlock. And again, a low-scoring game in this one. Both these teams playing their game in their defensive regions, not wanting to concede and not wanting to overcommit, but Trace may have been a bit overzealous on that one, but they will get away with it, just ricocheting off the post as Shane can try and play this on to the middle for Decomp. He gets the demo. That is fantastic play by Shane. I love to see that.
Oh, that is brilliant from Shane. He just realizes he beat Linz to the ball and realized that Trace is then isolated. Just gets the clever demo. Decomp, easy as you like, taps it into the open net.
It's always so tempting in chances like that to just try and hoof the ball across the net. But Shane, he knows his stuff. He knows if he takes Shane out the play, or takes Trace out the play, should I say, then Decomp will have an open net, and he's trying to do it again. Shane is unstoppable, and they take a 2-goal lead.
Oh, again, basically identical to goal number 2 for the Saints, and that's just brilliant by Shane. He's really showing that expertise right now. And Decomp, he must be loving life having all these open nets, Rez.
Absolutely, Decomp getting his 3rd goal on the board, the hat-trick hero in this twos game. As they look set to go 2 games up in this series, Trace will need to do something about it immediately. Looking for the 50, it's going to bounce down. The follow-up from Linsk is there, but Decomp makes the save. What a save. The follow-up from Linsk not there again. And it seems like the Saints are going to manage to take this game with a brilliant save by Decomp, possibly securing it. And we could see 4 here. Trace playing the ball on his own goal line, and with 5 seconds left, time is up for the Banshees. And the Saints, they're going to go up 2-0.
That game is absolutely crucial, Reg, in the Saints and Parable's hopes of becoming a back-to-back RLIS Superstar champion. But as we do know, Rez, no matter what team wins today, there will be a 2-time Superstar champion.
100%. And the Banshees, they need to sort this out now. As we go back into a threes game, you'd think this is a must-win for them. So, yeah, I mean, 3 goals from 7 shots for Decomp, but just looking at the pressure, 10 shots for the Saints versus only 6 for the Banshees. So you've got to start thinking about where the pressure has gone. I mean, the Banshees, throughout this whole season, they've played as a team that pile pressure onto the opponents and try and just force mistakes on the defense. But they have not been able to do that so far. The Saints have looked near enough impenetrable on defense, having only conceded 1 goal in the 2 games so far. This is a big swing game. Can the Banshees get back into this series and make it 2-1? Or can the Saints make it 3-0? As Parable makes an early save. Linsk, the follow-up shot is not going to be enough. And that one gets blasted downfield, leaving Trace on his lonesome. But Decomp had to do something about that one. Trace knocks it backwards. Cans now up in the middle. Not a lot of boost to work with. Can't do anything with that. It's now the Banshees having to backtrack, and they've given away possession, Dlynch. And it seems like, despite, again, early pressure for the Banshees, the Saints, they're holding very firm indeed.
They are holding firm indeed, and that again is down to a lot of the defensive work that Parable's put in right now. He's doing some absolutely magnificent work, and it's a bit of a testimony to just how good the Saints are in general about swapping between those game modes, as we said. Like, swapping to 3v3 every second mode, it must be tough for any team, Rez.
Yeah, 100%, but in the same way, it's equally difficult for both teams, so perhaps that's a testament to how well the Saints have managed to adapt, as Decomp making a play, gets the musty flick, but not the power he was looking for. And now Trace up with the solo play, the star player for the Banshees, looking for the double tap, but Parable gets a bump. The follow-up from Cans is saved by Decomp, and the Saints survive yet again. I thought that would have been Trace's opportunity to really announce himself in this series. The long-range effort saved by Decomp again. This man is on fire, but it may finally creep in with the rebound shot from Cans. They can't keep it up forever, and the Banshees take the lead.
And that is some nice work by Cans. Manages to cut out, put some nice midfield pressure, and I think it's a bit of a misplay by Decomp. Don't know what really happens on the back wall there, but the Banshees don't care. That's a crucial goal for them, Res.
That is a crucial goal for the confidence more than anything. As now, it is the Saints playing on the back foot for the first time in this series. Shane with the shot, but he's hit the crossbar. A disaster from Shane. He can't get the follow-up either. And I think he might have just been expecting a better play by the opposition. But you need to be scoring those. You can't be hitting the crossbar at this level.
No, you can't at all, Res. That's rather poor from Shane. It was basically an open net, but it's right. They need to be, if they want any chance of winning this final, they really need to be taking their chances, though. But as we see, Cans gets shot on net, and that's a beautiful redirect by Shane, I think, was it?
I think it might have been Shane into his own net, and perhaps Trace distracted him with this air dribble bump attempt, but Shane putting that one nicely into the top corner of his own net. But you don't want to be doing that, especially when you're 1 goal down, because the Banshees, they've now doubled their lead. They're 2 goals to the good. And this is the best position they've been in any of the games so far this series. And now the Saints with just a little bit of a mountain to climb. Shane dropping it down to Parable. That's a good link up between Shane and Parable. The collegiate teammates linking up in the RLIS final. And they're back within 1 immediately.
That was absolutely beautiful, Res. And that's probably the first kind of real passing play attempt we've properly seen from either side. Any of the 3v3 mode so far, and that was just a beautiful drop down from the backboard for Shane.
Beautiful by Shane and Parable to put them back within 1 with just under half the game remaining. Trace moving downfield, but not enough boost to do anything about this. Liz plays it into the midfield. Kansas there, but Parable equal to it. Decomp needs to make a play off his own backboard. And I've been impressed with Decomp's boost usage so far this series, Dlynch. He's done really well, especially in the situations where he's perhaps been a little bit boost starved. And he's worked really well when he's just had 1 or 2 boost pads to work with.
Yes, and look, that's what you're going to end up seeing at this superstar level. They're all going to be really good with their boost management. This is the top tier, and as we see there, the open end, but that's
please, someone put it in. Oh, the Banshees, they'll get away with murder as they all 3 of them put themselves out of the play. The Saints not able to capitalise. There's still a goal down here, but the shot opportunity could be on for Parable, but he's hit that one. And the Banshees, they'll get away with it yet again. 93 seconds left to go. A good bump by Shane will open up space for Parable to make a play. Physical play again by Shane. He's been really big on that so far this series, but Trace with the open net puts it in, and they reclaim their 2-goal cushion. With 1 minute 22 left on the clock, the Saints will need to do something about this quickly.
That was beautiful by the Banshees. They just realised the Saints overextended that bit much, and it was a beautiful pass downfield to Trace. And when he gets a nice easy redirect opportunity like that, Res, he is never going to miss that.
Yeah, that's the perfect situation that Trace wants to be in. Down the field, getting those cherry-pick redirects that the opponents just aren't in position to save. And it's worked wonders for them there. As now, looking to try and get yet another solo play. He's got boost to work with. Can pinch it middle. He does. Shane must get a touch and does. Good play by Shane to make a touch into his own corner from the goal line. As now we're into the final minute. They're going to need something soon, but it just seems all in favour of the Banshees at the moment. Decomp now. Up on the sidewall. Gets it past the first, but Trace is there to beat the second man. Lintz making something happen in this corner. As Shane now drops it middle to Parable, puts the shot on, but it's going to be easy enough, easily saved by Trace. Now Cans could make it 4-1, does make it 4-1, and this game is firmly in the hands of the Banshees.
That was a nice little dunk by Linsk, trying to intercept that passing play in Cans. Easy as you like, nice open net, and that's going to be a big momentum swinger for the Banshees. after losing the first 2 games.
Absolutely, and going into the next game will of course be Wands, and it will be another big opportunity for the Banshees to completely neutralise the series and make it, in essence, the best of 5. But we are still some distance away from that, as we have another whole game to play after this. As Trace up high, just trying to add misery upon misery for the Saints, and he will. A 4-goal lead now for the Saints, and I must say their offense has been much, much better this game.
It really has. They've been a lot more potent. Whether that's actually just taking advantage of the opportunities the Saints are presenting them, or if it's not really getting fixed on their end. But I loved what I saw from Novikans. That's the first real essence we saw of his classic bumper disruption plays. But that's the game winner for the Banshees, and this next 1v1 res is going to be very interesting.
Yeah, absolutely, and we'll have to see whether the teams choose to put out their strongest players, or perhaps a little bit of mind games going on to leave their strongest players for later. Obviously important to remember that in this format, there can be 2 Wands games in a series, and you can't have the same player play in both of them. So it's important to have depth, and depth is something you'd probably see a bit more on the side of the Saints, right? I mean, with the Banshees, you've got Trace, who would probably beat anyone in this lobby, but beyond that, Dlynch and Can's not the most convincing Wands players.
No, definitely not. Especially not Cans on the side of the Banshees. Linsk definitely would be taking a 1v1 in that scenario, but Parable, very experienced in the one field, and Shane, high quality player. So it'll be interesting as we see here, though. My Parable and Linsk lining out in this 1v1 res, and both sides actually choosing to field a weakened lineup.
Yeah, perhaps both teams going for the mind games, which will likely mean that if we get to that stage in the series, we'll see a Trace versus Shane 1v1, which will certainly be a spectacle to see. But for the time being, Parable and Linsk are on the agenda, and Parable with an early flick just 11 seconds in will find the net from inside his own half.
He absolutely noticed that Linsk turns to try and little fake challenge him, and he just sees the net wide open, does a massive flick, and that's lovely from Parable. And you'd have to imagine, Rez, that if another one opportunity arises, the Banshees will surely pick 1v1 again.
Naturally, if the Banshees get that opportunity, the Parable will be wanting to win this game to give his team a 2-goal cushion in games once again. As now Linz could have an opportunity, but he hasn't got the boost here, and Parable, he's just driven down the side of the field and yoinked all the boost right away from the nose of Linz. And now he has an opportunity to flick it high, forcing the save from Linz. It's all about the recovery game in Wands. There's a fake challenge. Parable looking really convincing at the moment. He is totally in control of this game, Dlynch.
Oh, he is reading Linsk absolutely beautifully. He can tell that there's not really that much Wands experience, and he's reading him down to a T. He's reading them like an open book, Rez.
Yeah, I've never seen Linz look so readable in Wands, but Parable making it look easy at this stage. And he's going to be able to take it back into this corner. He has had the lion's share of the possession so far, but Linz just going monkey mode on that one a little bit, and he will get a goal from it, just diving in, no holds barred. And Parable can't get back in time, back within 1, but obviously with 4 minutes left, literally anything can happen in 1v1.
Nearly anything can happen, Rez. And that was a nice little early challenge by Linsk. He knows Parable wasn't expecting it, but he'll have to be a lot smarter in the future. He can't keep doing that, as we know, because Parable, very experienced, he will adapt, which Linsk will also need to.
Parable needing to go back into his own corner here to try and reclaim possession. Linsk looking for the bump, Parable wise to it. As now he can try and move downfield. 19 boost to work with, gets another flick, and it's got just enough power to squeeze into the corner. It wasn't the most convincing of flicks, but it was just out of reach for Linsk.
It was. Parable rather dribbling direct at the net, but Linsk goes a bit wide. Maybe needed a bit of boost, but that was good capitalization by Parable, and 2 goals in the clear. But as we know, that can literally change in about 5 seconds, Rez.
Absolutely. As Linz trying to make something of this. Oh, Parable, you don't want to score an own goal. Shane, we saw score a pretty impressive own goal last game. Parable won't want to repeat the feats of his teammate there. As now he's got 28 boosts to try and play out of his own corner. Flicks it high. Could that be over Linsk again? The flicks on this man are absolutely incredible.
They are really on point tonight, Rez, and that is just beautiful. He sees that Linsk isn't driving straight back to his net, maybe stopping his momentum a bit. And as soon as he realizes that, he sees the opportunity to flick it, and that's just another easy goal for Parable.
Yeah, I think Linsk is going to have to switch things up here. So far this game, he has been shadowing really close to my Parable, and he's got to be a bit more careful with that. We've seen on 3 occasions already him being punished for shadowing too close to the opposing player, but he will get one back here with a nice easy kickoff goal. Nothing too noticeable, but that's what you need to be doing in ones. If you can guarantee yourself 1 or 2 kickoff goals every single game, that can put you in a really good stead for winning the game. But he's still 2 goals behind at this one, and Parable's still looking in control. Parable flicks it high again, and as you said, his flicks are just on point, and Linsk just isn't able to match it.
No, not. Linsk can't do anything about this. That's just great by Parable. Catches the ball, nice quick shot on target. He's really like up to the pace of this 1v1, and he is just showing that true experience that he has. But as we've seen from Linsk, I was about to say his kickoffs have been superior, but Parable just
Oh no!
Oh.
Parable, to me. That was so open. There's no way he's just missed that one. It's trying to take a nade out of Parable's foot with the flick, and he'll get it in. And Parable could come to rue that missed chance.
I might want to add that last 10 seconds from the open net miss to this is probably the most Parable play you will ever see, Rez. Oh, that is really unfortunate, but that might be the exact momentum swinger that Linsk might need to change the hands in this 1v1.
100%. But Linsk still needs to do more as we approach the halfway mark in this game. He'll have boost to try and make something out of this, but he hasn't set it up very well. Perhaps could have gone for the shot there. Linsk may have wasted that opportunity a little bit as Parable went diving in past the ball. We need to see a bit more aggression, I'd say, from Linsk here. He's creating some quite good opportunities, but he's just not taking that extra bit of risk to try and finish them off.
Or it's more the speed I think he needs to up. But as we see there, though, notices Parable out of position. Nice little shot on target, Rez. And we're down to a 1-goal margin now, and still anyone's game, Rez.
Yeah, Linsk definitely still in this one. Not giving up the ghost yet. Obviously, you should never give up in ones because a game can turn around so quickly. Is Parable going to fake that kickoff? That was a tiny little fake from Parable. But he won't be able to get a goal immediately from it, but he will have possession and boost to work with. Linsk misses that a touch, but he just dives across to get a touch. Linsk going up high, going to look for an air dribble bump, but he's not able to get it. Almost forces the 50 through. Can Parable get back in time? Yes, he can. And manages to get it out. Now Parable putting the shot on. Not enough power to beat Linsk. Parable trying to begin to bring on some suffocating pressure for him here, but he's lost possession. Opportunity for Linsk, but he just can't flick in the same way that Parable can this game, it seems. As now, up high. Parable not going to get the reset on that occasion, and it will give Linsk a chance to counter. Can Linsk get around the ball in time? Not quite. Oh, I can! What an angle by Linsk!
That is an absolutely beautiful shot, Rez. We thought the angle was just disappearing, but he managed to hook around it beautifully and get it into that top corner. And Parable, he has that 1v1 experience, but Linsk, he's really capitalised well on these chances.
Absolutely. Anything further to the left and that was hitting the post. Anything further to the right and Parable was making the save. Perfectly placed there by Linsk. We are all tied up with 1 minute left on the clock. Parable may just need to pull out one of those massive flicks again that we saw work so effectively in the early stages of the game. Linsk. Lots and lots of boost to work with now. He needs to try and set up something effective on this play. Looks like he's going to try and get the flick, but he's missed the flick again. Needs to work on his flicks a little bit here, Linsk, because he's getting a lot of good opportunities to go for solo plays. But he just hasn't been able to take advantage so far. But nonetheless, he does find himself all tied up in the final 30 seconds, so he must have been doing something right. As Parable clear it over to the sidewall. Going to look for a play off the wall with plenty of boost. Takes it back down. Opts not to go for an aerial play, but the shot is good, but the save is better. 15 seconds left on the clock here, as we could be going towards yet another overtime. We saw one in the first game. We could see another one now as Parable going off the ceiling. A little bit risky to do, but he's going to go for the stall. It's going to bounce high. Linsk makes the save. Won't be able to get a follow-up, and it looks like it might hit the floor, but Linsk's going to go for the dribbling challenge. And Parable going to keep it up. He's going to play a ball here. And Linsk puts it up high. This is still dangerous for Parable. He's not out of the woods yet. Linsk playing off the back wall, but it will eventually hit the ground, Dlynch, and we have overtime.
That is the least you expected. That was brilliant by Linsk. Bring this to overtime, considering how many goals he was down. But I think if Linsk, if he can sort out his attacks and stop kind of dribbling straight at Parable, potentially change his angle a bit, he will have every opportunity to take this 1v1. As we've seen here, though, he tries to bring it to the air, maybe, which we haven't seen much in this 1v1. But it's still anyone's to take, Res.
Game wide open. Just one goal will decide it. One little mistake or one bit of brilliance. Could Linsk find it there? Not quite. But he will have a chance to go again up high in the air. Parable gets there first. Can he translate this into an attack of his own? Not quickly enough. As both the players seem to have stopped scoring now, but this one's going to find its way in. Parable scores. He wins the ones game just about and puts his team 3-1 up in the series.
That was a nice little dive by Parable. Linsk wasn't really expecting it. Parable, he's kind of known for faking a lot of challenges. He's been doing that a lot this game. He mixed it in exactly when it matters. Great dive, good bounce for him. And that has just been brilliant by Parable and the Saints. Linsk maybe had a bit more of the quality chances, wasted them a bit more, but Parable definitely deserved to take the win in the end.
Yeah, that was a really, really good performance by Parable. It looks a little bit shaky at times. Sometimes on the defense, but those flicks early in the game is really what won it for him. By knocking in 3 goals just by flicking it over Linsk's head, gave him that decisive lead that eventually led on to him taking the win. And now we are going back to 3v3. We've seen 2 3s games so far this series. The Saints won the first in a 1-goal game in overtime, but then the Banshees came back winning 5-1 in game 3. Now in game 5, we'll see who can really pronounce themselves as the better 3s team. And Dlynch, I'd say on paper, perhaps you'd argue that it should probably be the Banshees, but so far this series, the Saints have looked really hot with their team plays and especially their demo plays.
The Saints have really looked on top form in Trees Res so far, but the Banshees last game, they showed it. They put up a lot of goals against the Saints, but all the pressure is on the Banshees in this 3v3. Might affect them in the way they play, but the Saints, if they can take this game right now, will be in essence close to a near reverse sweep. Although we do have seen a game on the side of the Banshees, and a slight little delay there by me accidentally joining one of the teams there is, but you know, we move and we get this game underway.
For a moment, you forgot that you got eliminated, but it looks like we're going to get a restart in this game, as we are going to bounce out of this one straight away and restart this lobby. Not sure if it was the fault of Dlynch, but we're going to blame him anyway for forgetting that he got eliminated in the semi-finals, and now he's here casting the finals, not here to play. But so far this series, I think just generally looking at the series as a whole, I've been very impressed by how the Saints have come out. I thought they'd come out the gate looking a little bit timid, a little bit afraid of the Banshees, especially Trace, but they've really played with a lot of confidence, and that's something you really need at this level, don't you?
Indeed, you need that confidence, especially in this superstar tier. And look, the Saints, they just seem that bit more confident, especially Decomp. Like, he's subbing up from All-Star. Maybe he thought he should have been in this tier in the first place, but he's performing very well so far, especially in trees, and he's going quickly up for those challenges, and he's really showing no mercy to this Banshee side.
And it looks like we may be going to a short break as Trace, after having some internet issues yesterday that led to the series being postponed, now it's going to go for a quick restart on the router. So we are going to head to a short break, but don't go anywhere. We will be back as soon as possible to continue the series and find out who will be crowned the champion of RLIS Superstar Tier. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back after that brief break, and we have some team news, Dlynch. We have got Trace subbing out for the time being with some internet issues, and Super Sub Epics coming in. Dlynch, what do you think that'll do to their chances in this series?
It'll be interesting, to say the least. It might not help the Banshees necessarily, but as we know, Epics currently nearly SSL in 2, so that's something to say the least. And it'll be interesting to see just how much of a difference he can make, and maybe Linsky and Kans maybe step up to the challenge. But the Saints, they've been pretty dominant so far. They've been doing well, so I can see it continuing in that rich vein. Res.
Yeah, 100%. And I think Trace is probably the hard carry of this Banshees team, and Epic's coming in almost certainly won't be of the same caliber. But we did see him put up a very good performance in the All-Star final 6 days ago. So as long as he can keep that up, they are still definitely in with a shot. But we will be getting into this game in just a second. It's crunch time in this series now, as the Banshees will need to make a comeback to take on the Saints. Gonna get into this one now. A crucial threes game in the series with Epics in place of Trace. As we kick things off, can Epics slip into this Banshees team, or will he take time to adjust? Time will tell. As Epics puts it up high, but it's intercepted quickly. And now Lintz can make a play off this. He's really going to need to step up, as now he was the first pick of the players remaining on this Banshees team. There's Shane looking to make a solo play. Epics will take him out of the air as Lintz can now blast it back downfield. Ping pong stuff as Parable finally going to slow things down and take a little bit of control. But play it into the middle. Shane, he's going to be up there first, but Epics with a good bit of speed to beat him to that one. Dlynch a minute in. Nothing too spectacular so far, I say that, as Lintz almost manages to force it through. But so far, no team able to break the deadlock just yet.
No team has been able to just yet, but we've seen some pretty good chemistry on the side of the Banshees so far. As we know, Linsk and Epics, they have played together in a previous RLIS season, and Kans, he seamlessly slots into nearly any 3v3 lineup, Res. So it's been really good work on their side so far, considering the quality that has been subbed out in the former Trace.
For sure, as that could have been a chance there for the Banshees to get on the board, but it will be cleared away. And Shane will put the shot on. The follow-up from Parable. A good fake to take Epics out the play. Pinched into the middle, but no one's there. As Decomp now puts a shot on. Cans makes the save. And Parable now tried to keep the pressure going, but the Banshees may finally have got it clear. Lintz plays it into his own corner, but Shane will be there first. The pressure is unrelenting here. Epics does make a very good touch indeed to keep that one away. As Decomp now keeping the pressure on, keeping that ball in the Banshees' third of the field. Shane up high, gonna get there first, hits it off to the side. Decomp trying to make a play in the corner. This is such tight stuff here. The Banshees hanging on for dear life. Parable goes low, pitches it off the post, and Shane puts it in. They take the lead in game number 5.
That was some good work by Decomp in the corner there, and Parable, nice little touch. a bit of a lucky pinch off the poach, but no Banshees defender able to react in time, and Shane cleanly mops up the open net, and that's the start the Saints will be definitely looking for.
Good start for the Saints, but they've still got more work to do to get this game in the bag, and that's brilliant by Parable. He's leaving the ball to go away and bump Epics, and now Decomp getting a slightly fortunate double tap. Something almost came of that, as my Parable is up now, puts the shot off the backboard. Parable shoots it in the net. That's how you do it. Look at how Decomp does it. Parable just seems to only hit the crossbar, but Decomp puts that one right in the middle of the net.
That was a beautiful shot by Decomp. Nice pass onto the backboard by Parable, and Decomp cleanly mops it up. And he has been playing absolutely stellar today, Rez, and he has been a real difference maker after subbing in for Pengu.
He absolutely has. Decomp really popping off in this grand final. He's already found himself with a goal to his name this game. As now Shane trying to add misery upon what is already a pretty miserable situation for the Banshees. It's Parable in his own corner, going to try and play this one out. Epix gets a good 50-50 on that, but it will only fall to Shane. It's now the Banshees perhaps missing Trace a little bit in this situation. As Epix on the sidewall, Decomp puts it down into the middle. Lintz gets bumped out of the way. This could be a chance. This could be 3, and it is. Parable puts it in. All 3 players on the Saints now have their goal in this game, and Parable capitalises on a fantastic bump by Decomp.
Started all so well for the Banshees. They were keeping it really close, Res, and they're letting it get them away from themselves a bit. That maybe just showing the experience that's been shoved out and Trace, that quality. But there's still a chance. There's just under 2 minutes left in the clock, so there's plenty of time. But if the passes are coming out like that, Res, there's a lot left to be desired.
100%. And this is a pretty devastating game to lose for the Banshees. They're going to find themselves playing up against tournament points. They'll need to win 4 games on the trot after this one, unless they can make some sort of miraculous comeback. And it could start here with Cans. Epix gets the bump and Cans puts it in. There is still a chance in this game as Cans makes a beautiful, nice slow play and capitalises on the bump by Epix.
It all started with that nice little touch in the midfield to get by Lintz to get it right past Parable, and that was just beautiful. And then an easy 2v1 opportunity. Epix playing that superbly, showing off that 2v2 prowess. And with just over a minute left on the clock, Res, still anyone's game to play for.
Shot from Lintz is saved by Trace on the line, but the pressure is much better now from the Banshees. Shane needs to put it into his own corner. Lintz can out, trying to put it into the middle, bouncing down, but it's cleared away yet again as we're now into the final minutes of play. Epix with the shot, comes off the backboard. Shane got something on it to keep it out of the harm's way. Epix now with the double tap, almost on target. So close as Cans. Now trying to make something out of this, but they're running out of time. Epix gets faked by Parable, and now it's going to find its way in. They reclaim their 3-goal lead, and they look set to put themselves on the series point.
They really are looking to be on that series of championship point, Res. And look, the comeback was on with just half a minute left, 3 goals. It's maybe just a bit out of the realm of possibilities for the Banshees.
The shot from Decomp will not make it 5. A mistake, perhaps misplacing the shot just ever so slightly. But it will not matter as the Banshees won't be able to make the comeback here. As we go into game 6 of this series, and I'm hearing news that Trace might be back, so perhaps they pick ones to try and, you know, at least get some momentum back in this series.
If it is correct indeed that Trace is back, then there's ever real opportunity for that 1v1. As we know, I can imagine Trace, being the very capable 1v1 player he is, would fancy himself any day of the week against Shane, or Decomp possibly, in any potential 1v1 Res.
Yes, as the Saints put themselves 4-1 up in games, they just need one more to lock in the W and the €120 prize pool. Let us know in the chat who you think is going to win, and we'll have to see if Trace will be reappearing or if Epix will be carrying on for the remainder of the series. Presumably, Dlynch just seconds away from finding out, but yes, it's confirmed in chat there for us. Trace is back. Epix gone from the party. He's done his service. It wasn't quite enough to keep them or to get another game for them on the board. But now Trace is back. The Banshees full force once again. And they're going to go for ones. And presumably they've put Trace in for this. And presumably this should be a relatively comfortable game for Trace.
Should, in theory, be relatively comfortable. But we'll have to wait and see. It depends on how his internet upholds. But you never know. The Cans might have decided he might have had a crazy moment, put himself in for one Res. We'll have to wait and see. But no, it is confirmed. Trace in for the Banshees, and presumably Shane for the Saints, but we will have to wait a second and find out, Res.
Shane is back in and jumps onto that blue team. Trace will be the favourite, but Shane, no slouch in ones by any stretch of the imagination. This could be the game that wins it for the Saints, or it could be the beginning of a long road to recovery for the Banshees. As Trace will take possession immediately off the kickoff, going to look to try and play it underneath Shane, and he does. Shane can't get back in time, and they will take the first goal.
That was beautiful knowledge by Trace. He gets the low 50, and that's just easy tap in then after that. Really showing that prowess he has in the Wolves Run Arena.
Brilliant start by Trace to get himself on the board. Nice and early. Shane will be able to take possession off this kickoff and have boost, but Trace just has so much confidence in ones. He doesn't immediately go driving back. He's able to sort of linger around Trace's end of the, or around Shane's end of the field to try and cause some problems. As Trace going for another solo play, gets it over Shane, and he is looking as convincing as ever.
He takes to the skies beautifully. One touch, two touch. Easy as you like, Res, and that is just beautiful by Trace. Nothing Shane could do about it there.
Good play by Shane with the aerial play, and Trace going for the fake kickoff. It's going to work relatively well as he's going to force Shane back into his own half. But that's a brilliant 50 by Shane. He's going to get back, going to get himself on the board. Back within one. And he's showing that he has no slouch in this game. He is not going to lay down and take it against Trace. As he's back within one, but still loads and loads of time in this one, Dlynch.
Plenty of time left with most of the game left, 4 minutes or so left, Rez, and I really want to see Shane pulling off some shenanigans, pulling off some interesting things to happen. As we see there though, a kickoff goal for Shane. That's very interesting, Rez.
Yeah, you would have thought that Trace, as such a prolific ones player, would try and not be scoring those kickoff, or not conceding those kickoff goals, but it was a decent attempt by Shane to put him back level. And now Trace going to try and reclaim his lead. He'll flick it over Shane. Nothing Shane can do about it now. And 5 goals in the first minute. This is much more high scoring than the game we saw earlier.
It is indeed, but again, it is that little bit higher level. Both these players have a brilliant offense and supposed to have a bit brilliant defense as well, but they're just executing on their chances so well, Rez.
Yeah, the play is incredibly clinical, and we do see at the top level lots of high scoring ones games, and this seems no different. Trace having a little bit of defense again off the kickoff, but he seems to have scared off Shane just about. Now he's got boost to work with, going for the breezy flick, and he almost gets it. It comes off the crossbar. The follow-up, not quite there. That was a brilliant effort though by Trace.
It was brilliant, so close. He's really trying to score those style points on Shane now, and maybe he might come back to room later on in the series when he doesn't take those opportunities. This was here though. Shane tries to find a shot on target, but we really need to see Shane capitalise on any opportunity he has if he has any hope of winning this round.
Shane though, looks like he'll be able to tie it up here, and yes he will. Trace taken out of the play, not able to get back in time. We're all tied up once again. We had a little bit of a lull between the 5th and the 6th goals, but back on form now are the players as Shane ties things up and is keeping things very close indeed so far in this game.
He really is keeping it super close, and maybe that might put a bit of pressure on Trace. We'll have to wait and see.
Danger.
But yeah, for easy as you like to go from Trace.
That's much more like it. I was expecting Trace to come out with a very strong kickoff, and he's shown it there. Reclaims the lead immediately. Shane yet to take the lead in this game. The best situation he's been in is when he was tied, but he's going to need to do more than that if he wants the series to end after this game. Trace dribbling Shane down the field a little bit there. But Shane will be able to get it clear. This is just awkward play in the midfield. Shane's got no boost and he's just forced to give it away. And this is good play by Trace as they'll put the shot on. Can Shane reach it in time? Just about. A good save by him. Put the pressure still on. Trace puts it in the corner, rolls up the post and goes in. That is really, really good ones by Trace.
It really is, Rez. It was a nice idea straight off the kick-off to delay it, try something else. But Trace reads it beautifully, and he played it ever so perfectly ever since, taking every boost possible, and Shane couldn't stop it at all.
Not a lot Shane could do to keep that one out, as Trace takes the 2-goal lead. But Shane off that kickoff, that's really, really smart by Shane. I love it when I can't even see a goal that's about to come. But Shane sees the opportunity, smashes the ball over Trace's head, he can't reach it, nestles its way into the net.
Absolutely beautiful by Shane. He saw Trace lacking in the midfield a bit, not really showing Shane the respect he probably deserves. And nice opportunity capitalised on by Shane. And he's keeping this really close, Rez, with just half the game left. And that was a rather poor shot. And Trace, I think, finds it on target, slowly rolling in and restores the 2-goal lead, Rez.
I was going to say, I loved how Shane conserved 20 boost off the kickoff to make a powerful shot, but then perhaps he conserved a bit too much boost. Because as he put that shot on, just rattled off the crossbar and gave Trace an open net to aim at. Could come to rue that mistake, as now he finds himself 2 goals down once again when perhaps he should have been tying the game. But no matter, he's going to need to mentally reset as he's going to look for a bump here, but Trace able to get there in time. Lots and lots of boost here for Trace to work with. Shane gonna have some defense to do here. Makes the save, but can he get it clear? Because Trace is not going to leave until he gets his goal. Flicks it high yet again, causing more and more problems for Shane. Shane so starved for boost now as Trace puts it up high. Flip reset for Trace, but he's going to back off from that one, realising the percentages for that play was stacked against him. But he's going to do it once again. 1 flip reset, 2 flip resets, the extra touch just off the post, Dlynch, and he gets the fake. What a goal by Trace!
Oh, that is just absolutely beautiful, and even the Banshees manager is absolutely loving this in the chat right now. Can's one for a can himself, but that is absolutely beautiful by Trace, making an absolute mockery of Shane.
He has made Shane look just a little bit silly in that instance, as now he has got to this one's game by the horns, if you will, as he's now got a 3-goal lead. Shane goes around the side. Trace puts the shot on net. He's made the save. Needs to try and get something fairly soon, just to try and build some momentum back into this game, but he's missed the boost on that occasion. Shane up high now. He's got the flip reset. Trace has made a total meal of that in his own net, as he has just decided to drive into the crossbar.
Look, not much can be said about that. He tries to pre-jump Shane, maybe land on his back baller, I think, but just hits the crossbar, and look, simple open net in the end for Shane. He managed to capitalise.
He's got the goal, but he still needs a bit more. As Trace now with boost and possession to work with, delays the reset. Shane makes the save. Great reactions. Can he save the follow-up as well? Yes, he can. And now he's going to need to try and create something down the offensive end. Shane, lots of boost here. Needs to tee up a shot. Tries to go low, but Trace is equal to it and more as he reclaims a 3-goal lead. 33 seconds left on the clock, and this is looking increasingly undoable for Shane.
Tries to get that 50-50, the low 50 with Trace, but he catches the ball a bit too high on the top of his car, and beautiful 50 by Trace. And look, 30 seconds, it's not out of the realm of possibility, but with the one good experience we've seen from Trace, I can really see him pulling out the rest of this game as.
Yeah, Trace, he's looked a little bit uncomfortable at times during this game, but I'm not sure this particular matchup was ever really in too much doubt. This Shane will get a consolation goal, 18 seconds left, and you never know, Dlynch. You never want to write a one's game off in this situation.
No, you never can. But it all depends on how this following kick-up goes, Rez, because if it's a good win for Shane, there's all the realm of possibility. But no, it's a good kick-up win for Trace. He's going to take to the skies, waste as much time as possible, go for that musty, but find the goal.
Go on, Shane. Can he get it there in time? It will go in with 3 seconds left on the clock. Shane back within 1. You never know if he can get a kickoff goal. He's already scored 1 kickoff goal this game. He would just need 1 more to pull off a pretty incredible comeback, even by 1 standards. Can he do it? It's going to be a diagonal kickoff. Trace plays it off to his own sidewall. That'll hit the floor, and Trace will get the win against Shane in ones and get his team back on the board.
And that was good by Trace to get the solid kick off and just waste that time. And Shane, very valiant effort, I'd say, to be able to take it this close in ones against Trace, who is, some would say, the most dominant player in this tier in ones. But it's the Saints still leading in the series, and the Banshees have a lot to come back, Res.
I know that was ones, but in that ones game, between the 2 players, they had 29 shots. And I think that really just is testament to how back and forth that game was. We'd have an attack down one end one moment, and just an instant later even, we'd see them coming down the other end to attack. So a great ones game by the 2 boys for the first round picks on each team. But now we're back into 3s. The Banshees fielding their full roster once again, as now the Saints will have yet another opportunity to finish off this series.
Indeed, Rez, and look, it should be a lot closer than the last game went with Epics subbing in, but it'll be interesting to see how they revert, because it's a different style entirely, playing with and without Trace. And it's going to be interesting to see how they manage to adapt again, as we see there. Oh, beautiful flick! But can't find the net. It's
a gorgeous flick by Trace, but it had the power, perhaps not quite the placement. As now the Saints will be able to play this out of defense. Parable flicks it over the first, but Trace, the second man, will be able to get it clear. Puts it up high, and they'll get an extra touch. That's brilliant by Trace. Linsk has an open net to aim at, and Trace has just taken on the whole team.
And that was some beautiful play there by Trace. Keeps it well in this corner and beats the diving last defender of the Saints and Linsk. Easy open net to tap it into, and that's the exact sort of start the Banshees would have wanted, Rez.
Perfect start for the Banshees as they go back on top in this game. Shane manages to get the 50-50. Parable now, low boost, and it's going to go blasted over his head. Decomp now back downfield. Cans drops it down. It's going to be a race to the ball. Decomp's going to win. And now Shane can try and make something out of this, but Trace gets a touch just before it's taken away from him. Linsk now puts a shot on Decomp, able to make the save. Coming up the side is Cans. Lots of boost, but not perhaps the mechanical ability that he needed to take control of that very situation. But the Banshees will still have the ball in the Saints' half. Linsk will look to try and keep it there. Parable pinches it across the field. Decomp going to leave it for his teammate Shane. As Trace gets a touch on it, but it will fall to Decomp. This is good midfield play, but Cans has got the dunk, and Parable's in trouble now. Tries to come off the ceiling and does make the save. A brilliant save. You don't see those all too often in 3v3. But he will keep it out and keep the deficit at 1. Linsk now in his own corner, trying to force his way out, but Decomp will get it into the middle. Trace up high, but again he's always just got 1 extra touch. Dlynch. It always seems that whenever you think Trace is done and he's going to have to leave the ball, he just has an extra touch to take it past the extra man.
That's what you're going to expect, Rez. When you have such a mechanical player like Trace on the field, he is always going to get that extra touch that you were least expecting, and it is really causing havoc amongst the Saints defense right now. But we're still only seeing 1 goal though, and it was a nice attempt there at demo play, but the Saints more than able for it, Rez.
Still just 1 goal in it, but the Saints will need to be a little bit more creative if they want to find it yet to register a shot in this game 7. Ball bouncing up high. Decomp trying to get the clear. Not enough boost to work with, and Linsk just slices it in. And they're up by 2 with 2 minutes and 20 left on the clock.
It was good. It was a rather interesting 50 that happened there in Linsk. First to bounce on that ball, and that was a crucial goal for the Banshees. Now 2 goals to the good, Rez, and it's looking ever and ever more in their favor as this game goes on.
Linsk trying to progress downfield as Linsk will just go all the way, just missing the finish. So close to getting their lead up to 3, which would have made it impossible almost for the Saints to come back. But for the time being, they are still very much in things. Bouncing into the infield, Decomp goes up high, looking for the double tap. Decomp! He puts it in with the double tap and puts them back within 1.
That was absolutely stellar by Decomp. Cans can't get the read in Decomp. Beautiful angle, and he really wants to send the Saints and become a simultaneous 2-tier winner, Rez, and that was just gorgeous.
That is the goal of the series so far. Perfectly placed at Linsk. Almost undid all of Decomp's good work in an instant. But the Saints, they'll manage to keep it out. That was the first shot the Saints have had this game. That's compared to the 9 for the Banshees. They need to get some more on offense. They've just been stuck in their own half and 90% of this game. As they may find a third here. Linsk just can't get the shot on. Trace with the follow-up though. It's a good shot, but it's come off the stanchion. And now, with 1 minute and 15 left, the Saints will be able to clear their lines. Decomp downfield, Cans. Only give it away to Parable. The shot is on. Linsk must make this save and does. Recovers relatively well as well, so now he can try and make a play down the other end. Decomp across the field. Shane with a pinger downfield. Will it find the net? No, but the follow-up won't either. They can't put it in. A blunder by the Saints. And that might really, really cost them in this game.
They have been under such amounts of pressure this game, Rez, and then that was a crucial opportunity to maybe blow a sucker punch to the Banshees, and they wasted that opportunity, Rez. They really did. The Banshees did well to hold it out, but that was a big mistake by the Saints.
Time running out for the Saints here, but Decomp had an opportunity there to try and get the decisive goal. Parable downfield, Shane, he's going to get there first, puts it into the corner, but Trace able to get a really long clear, and that one's may just creep in, and it will. Trace from his own backboard will just rocket it into the Saints' net and perhaps ruin their hopes of making a comeback in this game.
Surely, Rez, surely that is this game for the Banshees, as we see that the 2-goal gap pursued. But it'll be interesting to see how this next 2v2 goes, Rez, because while the Saints have been very good so far, I can imagine after this 3v3 showing, they do not want to force that game 9, Rez.
Absolutely. They do not want to go to a game 9. I mean, Decomp, the game 9 merchant, after winning that game 9 we saw last Tuesday, but they will not want to repeat that again. And just want to point out that the Banshees have just managed to win that 3s game with Cans only on 68 points. Trace and Linsk really taking that particular game by the scruff of the neck and carrying the team through it. But now we're going back into the wonderful world of 2s to see if the Banshees can keep the comeback going or if the Saints can finally put this to bed.
Now, I can imagine that it'll be a very interesting 2v2, but contrary to popular belief, I actually can see Lovely Cans having a massive effect in this 2v2, Rez. While some people might not necessarily rate him in 2s, I've had the pleasure of playing a long 2v2 season under the RL Ireland banner with Lovely Cans himself, and he is actually a very capable 2v2 player. But as we know from the Saints, they have to play with Shane and Parable, a very experienced 2v2 combo, very good friends and TUD teammates. So only time will tell, Rez. Will we be going to a game 9, or can the Saints slay the Banshees in this game?
I don't know about you, Dlynch, but this seems like the best and possibly the final chance that the Saints will have to close this series. They've looked a little bit shaky in 3s. You've got to also remember that one of the 2 3s games that they've won came against Ethics, and Can's going to score a goal immediately off the kickoff, and the Saints, they need to try and sort this out.
Again, Lovely Cans showing up straight away in this series, cheating up really well. Maybe a bit poor on the side from the Saints with their cheat, but again, there's still loads of time in this 2v2 res.
Saints will need to try and calm things down. That's a brilliant shot. Trace forced to make a last-ditch save. And it'll clear it away just far enough to stop the follow-up shot. Cans now gets the touch on it to keep it away. Shane off the sideball. He's missed that one. Leaving it for Trace it's just so awkward for all involved as Cans just going to rip a shot onto net to try and alleviate some of that awkwardness. But now, Parable off the backboard. Not able to make anything of this, and Trace with the solo play, he wants to try and one-up Decomp's clip from last game, but he hasn't been able to just yet. Parable now, unable to take possession as Trace cuts it out in the midfield. A great interception, a double commit, the follow-up is going to be there from Cans, and it just about sneaks into the top corner, and they're now 2 goals to the good.
It was a brilliant take to the skies by Trace, and he forces the double commit from the Saints, and that's maybe a bit of the nerves showing, Riz. Maybe a bit of pressure that they feel, and Kaz nearly fluffs that chance, but that just about manages to get it in.
And that is a good shot by my Parable. We saw how incredible his flicks can be earlier in that ones game against Linsk, and he's pulled them out again, this time in 2s. Popping it over Trace and getting them back within 1 straight off the kickoff. And this game is really opening up to be a tightly fought contest. As Trace going to win that kickoff and Can's going to come barreling through to try and make the play. No, never mind, he's just turned tail and run away. The caster's curse scaring Cans off in that instance. But now he could get a shot on, plays it low. Parable able to make the save, but his teammate's been taken out of play. Trace goes high, Cans finishes. They're back ahead by 2, and physical play coming out by Cans is really what bagged them that goal.
Cans, probably known for his physical play, hasn't really demonstrated much in this series yet, Rez, and the first time he does, and it's a guaranteed opportunity for the Banshees, and he has been really performing early on in this game, Rez. He really wants to force that game 9.
He does indeed. They don't want Decomp being a 2-time champion in this season alone. With Shane and Parable, they will be trying to do it for them, both themselves and the team. Shane trying to make the play up the wall. Trace making something of this. Now Cans putting it into the corner. Parable makes the clear. Shane is going to be first to that ball. Going to redirect it almost in the top corner. That would have been wonderful if it had pulled this off. But it was just saved by Trace on the goal line. It's now Trace makes the clear, but it's only as far as my Parable, who's just being a disruptor. But Trace, he doesn't care. He's going all the way. Forces a good save out of Shane. And Cans trying to keep the pressure on. The pressure compounding here for the Banshees. Into the corner. Now Parable needs to try and get this clear, and looks like we've got a little bit of a rule 1 between Cans and Shane, but they will back out of it. Parable with another power flick. Trace makes the save into his own net. And now Parable all on his lonesome. Can Cans make something of this opportunity, but he can't quite make it, get it through. And Dlynch, we're over halfway through this game, but it seems like the spark is starting to wane out of the Saints' eyes.
It really is, Rez, but as we know, there is plenty of time, and even 1 goal, 1 half opportunity, and that motivation can be brought right back. And we've seen Cans pulling a bit more of his antics by breaking that rule run, Rez, and people might hate him for that, but as we all know, he doesn't care of people's opinions of him, as he really looks to try and win here.
Shane trying to get it out of his own defense, but Trace is just cutting across the play in every opportunity to just take the sting off the ball and stop them making any sort of attack. Now Parable up on the sidewall gets it over the first, but it's nowhere near goalward. It's Trace now getting it cleared. Cans looking for a demo, and still looking for the demo. Almost took Shane out of the play, but he wasn't quite able to make contact. Now 23 boost for Shane to try and make a play. Tries to make it all for Trace, but Trace completely unwavered by that one. Now Shane with boost trying to force it through. Parable could go up for this one. It's a really awkward touch for him. The Banshees locking the Saints out as we stand.
they really are pulling off a lot of sustained pressure, Res. But it's like, as we say there though, Cans. But I say, I can nearly guarantee it, that Res, that Cans put the nail to the coffin in this game, number 8.
It looks like we could be going all the way in this one again, Dlynch. Now 3 goals up, and Shane and Parable look a little bit lost for what to do to save this situation. They've only got 5 shots between them compared to the 12 of the Banshees. Parable looking for a solo play, gets it over the first, but Trace gets back a last-ditch save again from the hero of the Banshees as Trace almost puts in a 5th. And you've got to think that since Trace came back from that brief mid-series hiatus, he looks like a transformed player.
He has been a man possessed, Res. He has been doing so well, but I'd put a lot of that in this 2v2 down to his teammate and manager, Lovely Cans. He has been creating so much space. He's been creating so many disruptions for Trace, which really allow him to show off his mechanics and that prowess that we know him for. And as we see though, the double commit by the Saints trying to force this, and that signals the end of this game 8, and we are forcing a game 9, Res, and this is going to be exciting.
4 grand finals, our second game 9. RLIS 22 playoffs really have gone down to the wire. One final 3v3 game will decide at Dlynch, and based on the momentum, the Banshees, I think, probably have to be the favourites in this.
That's what everyone would nearly say, Res, but I might be making a bit of a controversial opinion here. While the Banshees do seem favourite, we do know they have the mentality giant that is Decomp on the Saints, and Decomp in RLIS and Game 9s. He doesn't lose, Res. You can't back against him.
Saying emphatically in the chat that he is certain that they are going to take this, but I wouldn't be quite so sure. Trace and Cans with a really, really good performance in that once game. If they can translate that into this game 9, then they could have it in the bag. The Saints will need to find something that they've been missing for the last couple of games if they want to get the win. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here with Game 9 of the Superstar tier of RLIS 2022. This is the last game of the season. What a season it has been. Can the Saints end it on a high, or can the Banshees pull off a pretty incredible comeback? In a matter of minutes, we will decide, and Trace almost started it off with a brilliant goal. Shane moving the ball downfield as Decomp trying to make a play off this. Up high. Parable will be the first of this ball. Puts the shot on Cans. Makes the save. It's not a convincing one though, because he needed Lintz to come and bail him out. Shane puts the ball up high. Parable is the follow-up, but he can't quite get there. Decomp now puts himself out of the play just a little bit, but good physical play by Parable will perhaps open things up for his team. Cans, the nerves showing just a little bit on the goal line as the situation calms down just for a moment. As Decomp on his own back wall trying to get it out. As it passes to Milton, Trace with the shot, it will find the back of the net, and they take the lead in game 9.
That was some beautiful play there. Cans gets the great 50, finds the ball made. Parable can't connect on the end of it. Trace, easy as you like, taps it into the open net, and that is exactly the start that they would love to this game number 9, Res.
Is exactly the start they would have wanted, as you said, and also needed. Cans, he's not content though. He wants to double that lead as Shane forced to clear it long downfield. And I don't know about you, Dlynch, but one of the things I've noticed this series, as the Saints have begun to falter, is that their clears have just got more and more booms down the field and less kind of progressive passing plays out of defense. And I think that's something that's been costing them, and they need to try and bring that back because they're just giving possession away far too cheaply.
They really are. They're handing possession straight to the Banshees, and I'd put that a bit down under pressure because early on in the series, when there's still plenty of time, they can afford to take those risks. They can afford to make no mistakes. But in a Games 9 scenario, no one wants to be the player that makes that mistake, ends up passing the ball for an easy open net. They want to just boom it down, get it out of their half. As we see a nice pinch there, Res, and it's been a lot of pressure so far for the Banshees.
This game may just devolve from Champions League to Sunday League, but Shane, almost with the wonder goal, Parable with the follow-up trace, just gets the touch clear. Shane will be ruining that missed opportunity as they still find themselves one goal behind as time beginning to tick away. It shouldn't be a concern just yet, but if they can't find a goal in the next minute or so, it will begin playing on their minds. Cans in the Saints corner trying to get it into the middle for his teammates. Trace will try and pinch this one off the back wall. Parable going down the field and Decon pushing a little bit too far up. Not perhaps his best start to one of these games, Decon. Only 32 points on the board so far. We've passed the halfway mark now as Shane booms it downfield, looking for a try to try and get a follow-up touch. He will get the 50-50 and it's going to be a race to the loose ball. Parable will get another 50-50. Decon with the shot. Trace saves. Shane unable to get it, but Parable with the shot into the top corner. They tie in the game. 2 minutes left on the clock. This really is all to play for.
That was a fantastic shot by Decom. Trace managed to get the save well, but he's caught in an awkward position, especially when Shane can't connect. And Parable, easy as you like, nice shot into the top shelf of the net, and we have a real game on our hands, Res.
The Saints are not willing to give this up. They may have lost 3 games on the bounce, but they want to get a comeback here. Lint playing it into the midfield. Cans takes the shot, but it's wide of the post. Decom plays it down into the corner. Parable needs to try and clear because his teammate's been taken out the play. He's also been taken out the play, but Decom able to bail his team out in this instance. But Trace up with the double tap. He puts it in. Mechanics on show from Trace, and the star player from the Banshees gives them the lead once more.
That was just superb by Trace. Parable has the opportunity to intercept, but can't make it happen. And that might be a chance he is absolutely ruining. But the Banshees will be ecstatic right now, Res.
They need to keep their heads low. The game is not won until the ball touches the floor on 0 seconds. We're still 80 seconds away from seeing that. As Shane will try and make something happen. Parable, he's been the hero so far this game with that brilliant top shelf finish a minute or two ago. But now they need more. Trace with the double tap again. I thought he was going to pluck another one right out of the top drawer in game 9. But now the follow-up from Trace, who puts it in. He's got his 3rd of game 9. And the Saints, they need to start playing.
Ever since that internet reset, he has been a man possessed, Res. And he is looking to backpack his team to this game 9 win. And after being 4-1 down, I believe, Res, and he really doesn't want to lose this final.
A minute left on the clock. The Saints are going to need some heroics. Decom plays it over to the side. Linsk is there. But Shane makes a play off the back of this. Cans. It's not the most convincing of saves. Trace manages to get something on the clear though to keep it away from the marching Saints. As Shane into his corner, he'll get the demo and the boost. He'll play it over the first. They'll need some heroes from the first pick now as the time is ticking down for them. They need 2 goals in 30 seconds if they want to take this to overtime, Dlynch.
20 seconds left. It's not looking happy for the Saints. Trace trying to buy some time. But Res, 10 seconds left. That's it. I'm calling it. Not a hope of comeback now. It has been a very valiant ride for the Saints, but Can scores to send the Banshees as your RLIS 2022 Superstar Champions, Res.
We thought they were down and out when they went 4-1 down in games, but they never stopped believing. The Banshees, they came screaming back to win it in 9. They'll be on cloud 9 as the Banshees are your Superstar Grand Champions. What a performance from Trace, from Cans and from Linsk. They will bring home the €120 prize pool for the tier. What a comeback. What a series. And Dlynch, What a season!
It has been an absolutely terrific season, Rez. That has just concluded the fourth and final grand final we've had, with a different organization actually winning every tier, thanks to the Saints being defeated in this Superstar Grand Final. And oh, that was just an absolutely unbelievable series, Rez. Look, we couldn't have asked much more. The top tier superstar, the best players that this competition has to offer. Game 9. The hearts of the people may be broken for the Saints and for Decom, but the Banshees just proved too strong in the end, Rez, and it's been unbelievable.
What a performance from the Banshees. I mean, credit must go to the Saints. They came into the playoff bracket as the 4th seed, Decomp subbing up to try and make it all happen. And they made it so close. Just stumbling at the final hurdle. And we've been joined by our superstar champions now, Cans, Trace, and Linz. Congratulations. Cans, we're going to come to you with the first question. As the manager, you were the one who drafted this team way back at the start of the season. Was it ever in doubt? Did you always know that you were going to get the win?
75% yes. I like when Trace had his internet issues, like, oh no, I don't think the universe wants us to win, but thankfully he came back. No, it was a really tough final. Like, Saints played fantastic. All series long, like, they made one hell of a series. Big shout out to Epics as well for just out of nowhere just having to sub up. So big shout out to him, but big shout out to the two boys as well. They've kind of carried me massively, I think, throughout that series, and especially Trace. And I think I can safely say he's MVP anyway after that series.
Wow, what a performance from the team. Linsk, we'll come to you next. I mean, you lost that one series to Parable. That was so close. Immediately after you lost that game, did you think that could have been it? That could have been a turning point in the series where you wouldn't have been able to make the comeback?
I definitely did, but I tried to keep the head on me. Like, losing to a 50 like that last second was quite annoying, but like I kept the mental okay, and we brought it back.
Well, what a performance. You certainly did manage to keep the head after that pretty devastating loss. And I thought from the casting booth that could have been the point where the series began to slip away. But Dlynch, the point in the series where they really did begin to come back was that win with Trace. I mean, what a comeback it really was, Dlynch.
It was an absolute incredible comeback. And look, 4-1 down in the series, internet issues. It was really tough, Trace. But my question to you is, look, I know you came back after the internet troubles, obviously, but what was the mental kind of like, what was going around in your mind as you're kind of coming back into that 1v1 with Shane to try and bring back from 4-1 down the series?
If you want to know my thought process, I joined the call. I said, boys, I'm activated. And I slapped on, I forgot what song it was, but I slapped on a song and I went deaf, and then it was just like, my mental was there. I was there. Like, when you're there, you're there. That's what I was.
That's pure lies, but
I actually was.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, sorry to interrupt you, Dlynch, but it's safe to say that you were in the zone as you won those 4 games on the bounce to take the championship.
Yeah, I mean, I had to do some witchcraft to pull my internet back, but it was worth it in the end. It's a good series anyway to play, so very happy.
And that just about does it for this Superstar Grand Final. And not just this Grand Final, this is the end of RLIS 2022. And I want to say on a personal note, having been involved in the season from start to finish, I want to say a huge thank you to every single one of the players that played, everyone that tuned into the streams, everyone that kept up in the Discord. Honestly, this tournament would not be possible without the help of all of you. I also want to give a massive shout out to all the staff that helped with this. Cans, Dlynch, Rory, all a massive part, and the tier supervisors, King of Casual and Jenga as well, absolutely integral to running such a good tournament. RLIS will be going on a hiatus, but it will not be gone for as long as it has been in the past. RLIS will be coming back in 2023. Thank you everyone very much for watching this season of RLIS, and we will see you next time.
Whoop the Banshees!